Hello, this is Lance Brown, and I'm back basically for another Carrara a M1911 gun modeling tutorial. And this is part 2 basically of the tutorial. So if we have since we've have you last watched a previous tutorial, if you did, we first basically got the main geometry of the gun already done. The main basically structure of the gun already done. Now we need to join the two pieces together and actually join the two pieces and make it like a two joined pieces. So now we're gonna go to open. Actually, first of all, we're gonna go to File, Open. We're gonna go into Call M1911. The gun basically that I have basically made, that I've had actually started. So if you have this saved onto your computer somewhere or whatever, when you started it, you would go wherever you have it saved and you would open it up like that. Or another way you can actually do this, to actually basically have this to show, and actually, another way to actually open up this file, I would say, is you would go into Carrara. You would maximize this, and this is another technique that you could do. You could select this gun right here and click on this and drag this file right into Carrara, and it automatically opens by just clicking, dragging, and dropping right into Carrara, and it automatically opens. So another thing when you're basically handling files in Carrara, you could select a file like that. But I wouldn't do that basically. I would select would select a file from the scene tree editor basically, because this is what would happen if you select a file from here. You could actually move it accidentally like that, which you don't want to do that. And sometimes you can't undo it. So what I'm going to show you is just click from the shader tree editor. And first of all, I'm going to name this, and I'm going to call this gun called M1911. I'm going to call this call M1911 gun. It's going to be called the call M1911. So we're going to go into here, and we're going to go into the wrench tool and go into the modeling room. And now we're gonna take this, and now we're gonna duplicate this and flip this over on the other side of this grid that's facing the x-axis. So I actually scaled out, so usually the different x-axis is, the red is the x-axis, the y is the y-axis, and the blue is the z-axis. And usually what we want to do is actually duplicate and flip this along the x-axis. So we're going to go right here basically to actually flip this. So we're going to actually go into this section right here. And you see how that lights up right there? Let me click that again. So we want to see how this lights up right here. That lights up right here basically because we click this like this half deleted box, or this grid box. We clicked this grid toggle box, and we clicked on the certain section where we wanted to have the actually axis to be flipped on. So let's say we click right here. You're going to see this light up right here. This grid lights up like that. Now we're going to see this grid on the bottom of here lights up by clicking on the grid toggle button right here. And then we're going to see this back light up right there. And now we're going to go into here and we're going to duplicate this. But we're going to duplicate a Summertree. So we're going to go into Edit, Duplicate Summertree. And then basically we're going to go, or another shortcut key for duplicate Summertree, which is in Edit, is we're going to actually go Shift CTR D. And this automatically duplicates Summertree that. And you see how that duplicates Summertree? There's another way to do this which I could show you. We can select duplicate and then flip axis. So first of all, the shortcut for duplicate is CTRD. And now since that is selected right, since that is now, the duplicate is now selected, we're going to go basically edit and we're going to go flip right here. Like that. Now we're going to select these two. We're going to go snap to grid. And now we're going to move this right into the middle of the geometry right there. And now we're going to go into here. And we're going to take off snap to grid. And now we're going to go into here. And we're going to go right click. And we're going to go scale like that. And scale that down like that pretty much. Right about there. Right about there, I think. Kind of like that. Actually, we're going to make that a little bit bigger than that. Kind of like that. So now we're going to go to edge selection mode. We're going to select all of this. We're going to make sure we're on the move tool. And now we're going to go loop right here. And now we're going to go into bridge right here. Now the bridge can only work if you're on basically, if you're on edge or polygon mode. That's the only way bridge will actually work. So now we're going to go bridge right here. And we're going to go bridge like that. And it automatically bridges all these polygons together. But sometimes bridge can only work for 2 selections. Depending on what you're doing, it can only work for 2 sections at a time. In some cases, bridge can work for more than 2 sections at a time. So we're going to select this right here, these 2 edges. We're going to go loop right there. And now we're going to select these edges. This edge right here. And that segment, and we're going to go loop right there. So now we're going to hit the bridge tool. I don't think there's a shortcut for bridge, but you can click bridge from right from this menu, or we can go to model. And we can actually end up basically selecting bridge basically from one of these menus right here or so. The sync from right here somewhere. You can select bridge or so. Not really right there, but maybe in basically selection mode, we can select loft or bridge. And there's another technique you could do. You could easily select loft like that. Loft doesn't work. But obviously you could select bridge right here, and it automatically bridges right there. So that's how the bridge tool would work. So a bridge can only work if you're if you're only bridging 2 polygons to get 2 complete polygon geometries together. A bridge doesn't work basically for, a bridge actually doesn't work for an actual two line segments. So that's to keep in mind. So now we're going to put a middle edge or segment right in the middle of this handgun geometry. So we're going to go right click and we're going to go add. And now we're going to turn off these grids first of all, so we can see better. And we're going to go constrain along position right there. That's where that's what we want to have select, is constrain along position. So now we're going to go to here, and wherever it says 2 and like 1/2 right there, we're going to select that right there. And we're going to make sure we select right in the middle where it says 2 1/2 right there. I know you can't see that, But if it says 2, which beside the hand pointer cursor, it says 2 right there, that means we're in the middle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go enter. And now we're going to basically select this other edge in the middle right here. And draw a line segment right in the middle right there. Kind of a line segment right in the middle right there. Like that, pretty much right there. And now we're going to go to the move tool. And now we're going to go to edge selection mode right here. And we're going to go basically edge right here. And we're going to go edge loop right here. And this is what we want to try to do. We're going to go into this reference image of a gun. And we're going to try to divide the middle right here. And make 3 edges right in between the area that we just bridged. Pretty much. And we're gonna actually divide this edge right here. And what we're gonna do basically is make this section right here that we're gonna later basically model the handgun in there. So I'm going into here, and now I'm gonna go into the quick fillet. Actually, the extract along edge. And usually the quick fillet and the extract along or the extract around, those 3 tools can only work if those 3 tools can only work if you're in polygon or edge mode basically. The move along edge can only work if you're only in edge selection mode. I don't know about polygon mode, but really edge selection mode. You have to have that on edge selection mode. Now we're going to go into the extract along around. We're going to go into the extract around tool right there, which that has no shortcuts. So another way to go to the extract along edges is you go into here, the model menu, and you go down here into these sections right here. And now we're going to actually divide that right in the middle, right about. No, but first, before we go extract along edge, I actually kind of forgot. We need to actually move these edges around, basically. So we're going to go into here, and we're going to select these edges. We're going to go into 2-point port view right here. And we're going to go into the 2 view vertical, and we're going to go into director's camera right there. And now we're going to select the edges right here. Or another way to do that is select 2 edges right there and go between right there. And that's a faster way of doing this. Now we're going to move this right about there. And we're going to go into edge right there. Go like that. We're going to go into the edge selection mode right there. And we're going to select these 2 edges. And we're going to go between selection right there button. And now we're going to move that right about there. And we're going to go into vertex selection mode right there. And move that just right about there. Move that right about there, where that goes right there. So I'm clicking Alt button again to pan around and zoom out. Alt basically right button to pan, and Alt basically middle mouse button to zoom out. So now what I'm going to do is go into here and go into edge selection mode again, and I'm going to move that right about there, and move this right about there, that right about there, and now I'm going to go into here I'm going to go into edge selection mode right there, select these two edges, go between selection right there, move that down right about there, and move that section down right there. Now I'm going to go into vertex select mode, select these vertices right there, move that out more right about there, and I'm going to go into this vertex select mode, actually go into this bottom vertex select mode and move that there, and I'm going to go into here and select these two vertices, move that down right about there, move that right about there, and now we have that already set right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into vertex selecting mode right there, and now we're going to divide these two vertices together like that, and go divide, and we're going to make that section where the handle is going to meet, and we're going to round it out to section 2 by doing this process. We're going to go to the extract around edge right there, and we're going to move that right about there. That's good. And now we're going to select these middle right here, this vertex right here. We're going to go loop, and we're going to go right click and go select scale. And this is a perfect way how to scale this line segment out, because this line segment is not really straight, and that's not what we want. So we're going to go into the scale this along the x-axis and just scale that, bring that backwards like that. We're going to bring the x-axis thing back more into this direction, more like that. More in this direction. And now we're going to go like that. And now we're going to do the exact same thing with this. Bring this back more like that into that direction, where that's completely straight. So that's a perfect way how you could, this technique is a perfect way how to get line segments to be completely straight, polygons to be completely straight, or to get like a polygon face to be completely flat, is by doing this technique. And now we're going to go to right click, move, or we can click here to move tool right here. And we're going to go into the vertical view menu right here. And we're going to go into here, and first of all we're going to select this piece right here. And select that and go between right there. Or another way we can do this is select that right there and kind of move that right about there. Actually, I'm going to do these individually. It's much more better. Like that. kind of like that. And then we're just going to keep moving along like that. And we're going to keep moving these along like that. And move that along right about there. Kind of like that right there. And we're going to move this down like right about here. Right about right here. We're going to move that right about there. And move that right about there. Try to straighten this out along the x-axis like that. Move that right about there. And kind of do it kind of like that. So we're going to move that right about there. And here we have this section right here. And you see how this is kind of like a curve right here? Like that's how, like, see here how this part is kind of like a curve right there? That's what we want when we're doing the handgun. Kind of like a rounded shape right here, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go into here. We're going to go into edge selection mode, actually polygon selection mode. We're going to select this. And to select every single edge, and select everything like vertices, polygons, edges, we go into here basically, which is regular selection. But we just want specifically polygon. So now we're going to go into right click and we're going to go scale. And we're going to scale these down like that. Kind of like that, pretty much. We're reforming like a round dimple shape like that. In a gun. And that's what we want right there. Kind of make that round beveled effect. Kind of like this in a way. Kind of like this beveled effect right here is what we want. Or this effect right here was what we want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to edge selection mode. We're going to select the other thing. We're going to go to move tool. And we're going to go loop right here. We're going to go into here and we're going to go extract along edge. Go extract around edge, and we're going to move that right about there. We're going to go into polygon selection mode and go into click the paintbrush right here for doing paint selection. We're going to hold down shift and we're going to just add right here. Like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this view menu right here. And we're going to add this like that. We're going to move that up more like that. And now we're going to go into here. Move that down like that. And now we're going to go into edge selection mode right here. And now we're going to move this down right about here. And now we're going to go into edge selection mode again. And now we're going to move that right about there. We're going to actually go into global and turn off the blueprint. That's where you can add the blueprint, is usually in the global section. And we're going to straighten this out exactly like this, where this line is matching up straight edge right there. so we have that round section done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and select this top piece and go between edge right there, and I'm going to turn on the grid again, and I'm going to make that round beveled effect right there, kind of like that. And now what we're going to do is select these two, move these down kind of like that, go into vertex edge selection mode, move that down like that, select that vertex right there, turn off the grid I think so we can see better, and we're going to move that kind of like that, where we have that round bevel, where we have that round edge right there, have that round smooth crisp edge. So we have that now done. So I guess basically that's really it with this. So I guess really that's really it with this Carrara like gun modeling tutorial. The only thing I'm going to do is go into top view right here, and I'm going to make sure that this is all even by going into polygon menu, and I'm going to show you a new trick. So we're going to go into here, we're going to select this, these half, we're going to go delete. We're going to go to director's camera right here. We're going to actually go CTR, and we're going to make sure, we're going to actually first make sure we're in vertex selection mode. We're going to go CTR, and we're going to click one vertex right here, right in the middle of this geometry, right about there. And now we're going to turn on all the grids. So let me try to do that where you can see that. So we're going to make sure that all the grids are turned on first of all. And now we're going to click go CTR, and we're going to click right in the middle right there, and that moves the grid right in the middle of this actual geometry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're going to select this entire object. We're going to go to polygon. We're just going to double click on the object right there to select the entire thing. Or you can go into selection or edit and go basically deselect all or whatever that thing is or so. But what we do is we select this entire thing. And now what we're going to do is, this is a trick I'm going to show you. We're going to make sure that we're selected, this is on. And now we're going to go into here and we're going to go duplicate symmetry, which is another term, shift CTRD right there. And that duplicates symmetry to item. And now this other half of the geometry is now basically very symmetrical to this other half of the geometry. The normals are not really very well, so we're going to go into model, and we're going to go basically reverse polygon normal right there. And now we're going to go CTR to get at it to rechange your grid to the proper way it is, and to rechange it to actually rechange your grid to actually the original size. We just click outside of this entire grid system. We're gonna go CTR, click CTR, basically left click on the empty space right there, like that, and that basically brings the grid back to its original state. So I guess basically I'm done for this part 2 of this Carrara called M1911 gun modeling tutorial. So I hope you stay tuned for number 3 basically, because I'm going to do a number 3 in the future. So watch the number 3 tutorial and watch what number 3 tutorial looks like.